My name is Jamin Goecker. I'm an associate real estate broker in the state of Alaska, and my mission, as always, is to help you to build an intentional and significant legacy for yourself and your family by coaching in real estate. And today, we're going to be talking about what's going on in Eagle River, Alaska. This is one of the largest suburbs of Alaska, of Anchorage. Well, kind of Alaska once you come to think of it, but it's kind of a small but very mighty kind of market here in the area. And so for that reason, it gets its own market update. And we're going to be talking about what's going on in the single family, the condo, and the multifamily market. Before we do that, though, do make sure to give this video a like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Leave comments down below so everyone knows that this content is awesome if it's helping you. And without further ado, let's go and jump into the market update, looking first at the single family market. Now, the first thing that we see is that this time last year, there were 33 properties available on the market. Now it's 26. Now that seems low, but it's even lower when we take into consideration that usually around this time of year, we would see about 100 and 120, sometimes up to about 140 properties. So the fact that we're only at approximately 30 properties available on the market does really give you an idea for just how compressed the market is right now. The second thing we see is that the number of properties that actually sold went from 27 this time last year to 37 for the month of March this year. So again, that we have low inventory, but we're still actually seeing more properties selling compared to the year before. But let's take a look and see how many usually sell for around this time, because usually we would see about upwards of about 50 properties that would be selling. Back in about 2017, we saw it dip down to about what it is now, and that's, when the inventory wasn't as nearly as small as it was. So believe it or not, back in the day as a seller, you really had to work to get picked, and that is just not the environment that we are in right now. I'm realizing there's probably going to be an entire generation of sellers who just have no clue what it's like to actually compete for the attention of buyers. But yes, that's where we're at right now. More properties sold this time compared to last year, so that is kind of indicative of just how in demand the Eagle River market is. All right, now looking at the average sold price for single-family properties in Eagle River, we see that there was actually a drop in the average sold price for properties in Eagle River. So let's take a look at that. So this time last year, the average sold price for the month of March was about $512,000, and this year it's about $466,000. Now you're probably thinking, wow, that's about a $50,000 drop per average sold price. So does that mean the market's just, the bottom's falling out of the market in Eagle River? Well, not likely, and I'll explain why I think that is in one of the theories I have in the summary for the video. But yes, what we're seeing is, just looking at the stats for the properties that are selling, the average sold price is about $50,000 less, at least for the month of March, compared to this time last year. Now, looking at the condo market, we see that this time last year there were 4 condos available on the market. Now there are 7. So if you're wanting to jump into the condo market, here's your chance. Go ahead and jump right in. The good thing about condos in Eagle River is that you still get the benefit of living in Eagle River and all the conveniences and everything else, but you don't quite have all the downsides of condos in other parts of the state. Feel free to reach out to me. Be more than happy to kind of explain what some of those are. But yes, condos are starting to become a little bit more plentiful, again, relatively speaking, in Eagle River. Usually about this time of year, we'd see about 20 or so. So we're still nowhere near the condo demand for what we had before, but hey, that's a start. Now, what we see for the condos that have actually sold is it went from 3 condos that sold this time last year to 3 condos this year. So not seeing a whole lot of movement there as far as the condos that are actually selling. Lastly, what we're seeing is that the average sold price for condos went from about $252,000 to about $417,000 for the month of March. Now, I'm sure some of you are about to really double checking my numbers there, but that is correct. Just looking at the stats, gone up by nearly $200,000. But, just because the market is so small, if we're selling brand new condos as opposed to used condos, resold condos the year before, then that can really just throw all the numbers off here. And I think that's really what we're seeing. I have no doubt that condos are appreciating, but I'm pretty sure it's not going up by approximately $150,000, $200,000 though over the year. All right, let's go and take a quick break here real quick. For those of you who've been watching for a little bit, you do know that I host a meetup for people who've recently moved to the state. So if this is something that you would be interested in order to kind of just plug in and maybe meet other people who've recently moved to the state, do feel free to reach out on the Facebook page down below. We have an event coming up actually this month that I'm very excited about. So do make sure you hop into the group and hope to see you there. Now, let's go and finish up today's market update, though. So this time last year for multifamily properties in Eagle River, we had one that was available, and this year there are 4. So if you were looking at hopping into the multifamily market, good news is you at least have more options available this year than you did the year before. Still not a whole lot, because historically we would expect to see like double that, like 7 or 8. It's not a huge market here as far as multifamily properties go, but they are in pretty high demand from investors just because it's a lower cap rate, so you're going to have less of a headache, but you're still going to be getting pretty decent money in the Eagle River area, and the appreciation is pretty solid as well, but not a whole lot available right at the moment. Next, what we see is that this time last year, there were actually 0 properties that actually sold for multifamily property, and this year there were 2. So yeah, a little bit more than the year before, but we're not talking big numbers either way. All right, I really debated not even presenting this slide just because it tells you absolutely nothing, and that's the average sold price for multifamily properties in Eagle River. There were no multifamily properties that sold for the first 3 months of last year, and so that's yeah, not a whole lot to report on there. But yes, average sold price for multifamily properties in Eagle River this year is about $592,000. So we do see that there's still a pretty good average sold price for multifamily properties in Eagle River, and that's just because it is such a desirable location if you're an investor. Lower cap rate, so you're going to be getting a lower ROI, but also you're going to have less of a headache along the way. And let me tell you that you can't really just gloss over that. All right, so let's go and summarize all this for you. Now, what it means for me, at least on the residential side, we are seeing a bit of a dip in the average sold price. I think that has less to do with the values and the demand, the value that people put on properties in Eagle River. It has a lot more to do with just not a whole lot of people in the higher range homes are wanting to sell. And so when you only have people in approximately that upwards of 600 price range wanting to sell this year just because they want to hang on to what they have and the low interest rate that they acquired a couple of years ago, and they're looking around and seeing what they could afford now, a lot of them are just like, we don't have to move. We're just going to stay put where we're at. And I think that's really more of what we're seeing right now. People in the higher price ranges are more or less staying put, and people in kind of the middle price ranges, upper middle price ranges are about the ceiling of how high our values are getting at the moment. So that's why we're sitting closer to about that 500, 600,000, average price point for the month of March. So that's one of my theories. If you have any other theories, feel free to throw them down below. I'll tell you my perspective from the trenches and working with people right now is that property values in Eagle River are definitely not going down anytime soon. For condos, not a whole lot to report there. And multifamily properties, like I've said before, very valuable, very desired. You just have to make sure that they are operating like businesses and in good working order, and you've actually got all your paperwork together. Like, good grief, investors, together, and make sure that your investment property is actually operating like a business and you've got all your paperwork together. Like, I am getting run around ragged trying to deal with a bunch of incompetent investors who don't have your stuff together. Like, know your property, have all your receipts, have everything ready to go. Like, this, not rocket science. Anyway, sorry, get off my soapbox here. If you're a buyer in this market, the best thing I can say is hop in as quick as we can here, because if interest rates do come down, it's going to be an absolute bloodbath and prices are going to absolutely shoot through the roof. If you are a seller, this is not the same market we were in a couple years ago, where you can just say or do whatever you want and get it. You still have to work for it, but this market still heavily favors the seller. If you're an investor, run your numbers, make sure all your stuff is together, reach out to me, and let's talk and make sure you got your life together. So this has been your market update for Eagle River. Thanks for watching, hearing me rant a little bit, and we'll see you next time.